Hey parents, thanks for clicking on this video. It'll only take a couple minutes and I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do this. This year, as I was trying to figure out how best to partner with you as you raise your families, I decided that maybe it would be beneficial if we talked for a minute about the things that have been really hard. COVID brought on a lot of extra challenges when it came to parenting, and I am by no means an expert on that, but I figured that since I'm not, I would reach out to somebody who is. So I reached out to my friends at Cornerstone Counselling in Edmonton, and I asked them if they'd be willing to partner with us on a short video series for parents about how to do a couple things when it comes to COVID and parenting. The couple of things that I asked them to focus on in these videos was, first of all, how to parent kids through a pandemic and how to parent them if they're having big emotions like anxiety or depression or just different things like that. And second of all, how to parent them as we come out of COVID. COVID restrictions are starting to end here and there, and so we're seeing that things are starting to change. And change is good, but also it comes with a lot of difficult things. So I asked my friends at Cornerstone Counselling to offer some advice on how best to help our kids through that. Now I'm going to pass it off to my friend Anne Renee, and I hope that these videos are really beneficial to you throughout your parenting journey.
Hi parents, my name is Anne Renee Sherjang, and I am a registered therapeutic counselor from Cornerstone Counselling in Edmonton. Over the years, I have had the opportunity to work with many children, teens, and their families. I also have 2 elementary school-aged children of my own, so trust me when I tell you that I know parenting can be challenging. It has been especially challenging over the past 2 years as we have tried to navigate the uncertainties of COVID. And the pressures that our children have faced as a result has definitely taken its toll. For our elementary school-aged children, these times have been incredibly challenging and have created increased uncertainty, stress, and anxiety. Developmentally, they're sort of at a place where they're beginning to understand things or trying to understand things, but at the same time are not quite there yet, which might be creating even more stress and anxiety. Here's the good news: not all stress is bad. In fact, having a bit of gradual stress within our lives actually helps us to learn how to better manage and cope. It helps our elementary-aged children grow and develop those important skills. I'd like to take a few minutes to share with you a few helpful tips and tricks that I have learned along my journey as a counselor, child development specialist, and especially as a mom. One of the most important things that we as parents and caregivers can do is to simply spend time with our kids. Even spending a few minutes each day, giving our children our full attention, can have incredibly positive and lasting outcomes. Creating a warm and secure attachment makes all the difference. Included in that positive attachment, we want to make sure that we are validating our children's emotions. For many of our kids, their emotional vocabulary does not expand much past happy, mad, or sad. But it's important for us to listen to what they have to say, allow them to share how they're feeling, and try also to help them expand that emotional vocabulary using words like excited, frustrated, or disappointed. Let's let them share their emotions openly, letting them know that we hear what they're saying, and we're there to help support them through it. But what if some of our kids' emotions are pretty big and seem a bit more challenging? As I mentioned earlier, COVID has been particularly difficult for our elementary-aged children. Between school closures, navigating online schooling, and now trying to wrap their head around everything that might be involved in going back to quote-unquote normal, the pandemic has asked a lot of our elementary-aged students. The first thing that's important to mention is that much of what our kids are going through and feeling right now are pretty normal and pretty understandable. But how, as parents and caregivers, can we help? When our bodies begin to feel nervous or anxious, we enter into a phase called the fight, flight, or freeze response. Now, this is our body's way of trying to source out the possible danger ahead and determine the best course of action. We might choose to try and fight the danger, meeting it head on. We might flee the situation altogether, perhaps not wanting to deal with it at all. Or we might simply freeze in that moment, unsure of what to do. Our bodies manage this stress in 4 different ways: in our physical responses, emotional responses, our behavioral responses, and finally in our thought responses. Now, it can be helpful to begin talking with our kids about what things they might notice when they begin to struggle with some of these big emotions. Questions like, what are you feeling? What do you notice in your body right now? What behaviors are you engaging in when this happens? And finally, what is going through your mind? What thoughts are you having? And what might have triggered all of this? Having this awareness can begin to help our children as they try and work through things. Now, another helpful tip, especially for some of our kids that might simply want to flee or run away from the situation altogether, is to use gradual approach. For example, if our child has been doing much of their schooling online and they're now finding themselves nervous to return to the classroom, we might first take them to school on a Saturday, for example, when no one else is there, just to refamiliarize them with the school grounds. We might then take them inside the school at the end of a school day when there's minimal students, allowing them to be in their classroom space for a brief period. From there, we might send them to school for an hour, then maybe a half day, and so on. This gradual approach allows our children to feel more comfortable as they take their time with this process. If our children begin to struggle with more challenging behaviors, it's important that we remind them that we are here for them no matter what. Co-regulation is a term that refers to being present in the moment with our children, recognizing that they are likely not able to manage things on their own. We can come alongside them, sit with them in that moment, and simply be there as a role model, displaying calming and quiet. This will help our kids to be able to begin calming themselves. Another fun and helpful tool that you can use is a toolkit. This is a box filled with certain items that will enhance our children's ability to calm. This toolbox can include things like tactile fidgets, a book to look at or read, music to listen to, maybe a small snack, or something with a nice aroma. Choose items that suit your child, both in terms of their unique personality, as well as their age and developmental level. This toolbox allows our children to take initiative in furthering their own calming process. Now, sometimes in these moments, our kids find themselves with too much energy. A useful tip in this instance is to use muscle tensing and relaxing, where we encourage our children to tense up the various muscles throughout their body for a few seconds and then release it, maybe shake it out. We might also suggest that they engage in some type of physical activity in an attempt to release some of the pent-up energy that they might be feeling. Finally, intentional breaths can be a useful tool in assisting with calming. You can guide your child through various breathing techniques that will allow them to slow down their breathing, as well as slowing down their body at the same time. Always remember that you are not alone, parents. Use supports around you, whether that means talking to a friend or a family member, joining a parenting class or group, or seeking out more intentional assistance. There are resources available. Cornerstone Counselling is an amazing resource that is currently offering online, phone, and in-person sessions. Please check out our website for more information. Thank you.
Thank you for watching this video. I hope that it was beneficial to you, and I also hope that you were able to take something going forward in your parenting journey. I also just want to once again thank the people at Cornerstone Counselling for helping us out with this project. Thanks for watching again, and hope to see you on Sunday.